So welcome everyone to Court of Blades, where we're going to try something a little new and different from our Blades in the Dark that we've been doing. I'd like to welcome you to Ilrian. So this is the jewel of the coast, the greatest city of this or any age. And I stole that from someone. Ilrian, it's a fantasy feast where you can indulge in the convoluted political intrigue, delicious, daring exploits, and the dangerous sweetness of forbidden romance. Be on your guard. What manner of adventure comes tonight? Guess we're going to find out. And let me mute this over here. Have my Twitch talking in my ear. And let's go over to where we have players. Hey, look at this. We've got our players, and somehow I didn't get your name on there again, Martin. That's my own fault. So Martin is right next to me. And tell him what type of character you've got.
Hello, yes, my character is an eye.
And that's sort of what, like a spy a little bit, or the intelligence person?
Yeah, someone who goes and grabs information and keeps an eye out and listens to information and infiltrates, and yeah, slippery character.
Very nice. Next to him, with the black background, is John. John, you want to tell him what a Bravo does?
Oh, you'll find out.
They
Trust
will
me,
find
you
out.
will find out. Bravo is
Bravo.
someone who defends the honor of the house and defends the rest of his team. At least that's what I'll be doing.
Very, very cool.
Look out for that.
And your character is from the other side of the sheets, is that correct?
He was born on the wrong side of the blankets, but his father still afforded him all of the attributes of a life as a nobleman, but without the actual title.
Very good.
Now what he's working on is earning the title on top.
Very, very good. Directly below me, you see Felix, and he is not playing Wrecker, and somehow I did not get these names updated. Felix, tell us a little bit about your character.
I'm Lorenzo Il Magnifico. I'm a streetwise performer, lucky, dangerous to rise from the gutter. I had a performing monkey which I lost recently, so I'm fairly sad about that.
It is pretty bad. And then Pete and Christine are sharing the same camera. You don't see Christine most of the time. She's just a little bit off the edge of that screen. Pete, tell us a little bit about your character.
So I am playing Pietro de Rossi, a minor noble from Altori. He is, by all accounts from anyone who is not prejudiced against him, a handsome man.
Very much so.
His battlefield is the court. His weapon of choice, a well-placed word, a supremely crafted insult.
Very well done. Christine, tell us a little bit about your character, Sasha.
So I am playing Sasha Mendoza. She goes by the alias The Raven. She is a rather dangerous figure. She is a bounty hunter, a hawk. She's quite menacing, very unflappable. Kind of laughs in the face of danger, to be honest. I think nothing seems to faze her overly.
Very good. Last but not least, Rob, tell us about your character. And you're muted.
Okay, so tonight's going really well, isn't it? Okay, so my name's Mark Lintolper, and I'm a prince, a proper prince, not one of these shabby things from court. But the only problem is although I've got royal blood running right the way through me, I come from a defunct land. and I've had to settle through the generations, which is why I don't talk like the rest of them over there. Pleased to meet you. I'm arrogant and I'm selfish and I'm a complete prick at times. You've been warned.
So with that warning, we're going to jump over to where we have our Roll20 set up. And you can see us around here where we actually have the correct names next to everybody. Oh, wow. And your character, your camera is different than it was last time, Martin, which is just absolutely fine. If you guys see here, we have rolled up the houses. We knew that your house was the last house, Bastion, that is just going to be making it into the Esultari tonight. And you can also take a look and see the other houses, their strengths, and the areas in town that they have control of. So sort of take a look as I start out this game here a little bit with John's character Giacomo. My question to you, Giacomo, is where will your Blade Master wake you up this morning? Where are you? Where did he find you? He's been looking.
In the bed of Lady Sylvia Sanclair, the wife of one of our rival houses, senior tradespeople who is currently away on a trade delegation.
Very, very good. Absolutely. Then I will enjoy that. So, Silk Sheets, this is a wealthy family. In this particular situation, the door bangs open, and you reach for your rapier, of course, I assume, but it's Naldo. It is your blade master from your house. He goes, Giacomo, we're in a hurry. And he tosses a bundle onto the bed. It's clothes for you. It's hose. It's actually a dueling shirt, believe it or not, which is sort of unusual. But underneath your two coats, it won't show that much, just frilly lace at the edges. Your coat hangs about to your mid-thigh when you put that stuff on. And instead of just court shoes, these are your fencing shoes that he has given you. But he says, we've got to go to court. There are things afoot. No. Questions on the way. Come. There's been a riot.
No.
Nope.
No.
What do you need?
And so I walk into a small adjacent chamber in which there is a bath.
Yes.
And I sit down in the bath and start scrubbing myself.
Well done.
And he is plumbing the walls.
Oh, yes, he is.
He's basically yelling at me for 10 minutes straight while I wash myself thoroughly, comb my hair,
he's using
and make myself, as far as I'm concerned, look presentable and not smell like the activities that I got up to the night before. So, having prinked myself and covered myself in cologne,
how long do you think
this
takes
you? Come back out
you?
And get dressed. Now we can leave.
How long do you think this takes you?
10 minutes.
10 minutes. When you step out, Sylvia has presented Naldo with a cup of tea, and he is nervously drinking it down. He says, "We must away." And then
is she doing that thing where she sits at the end of the bed naked and basically with the covers pulled up around her, her midriff?
Absolutely.
Also drinking her small cup of tea.
Yes.
And there's one on the side for me as well, which is really upsetting him.
Yes. You want to take your time and sip that down?
No.
How kind of you. You can see there's absolute relief on Naldo's face. Naldo's been with the family for a while, almost a father figure, as you were a little bit on the outs with the family, just because you couldn't necessarily be seen at all the same places. He knows your strengths and weaknesses backwards and forwards as far as your fencing. You're not the best fencer in the house, but you're pretty darn close to second. And it's because of his efforts. He is something else. Now, I will say that Donino, your cousin, he is the best blade in the house. You cross from, I'm going to say, because of where I think that this lady is going to be from, and thank you for this. I love that particular character, and that will come up again. I think you guys you cross from near the docks, believe it or not, but it is a fine house. Unfortunately, the husband is away on a long trading journey. You catch a gondola and push through town. There's stuff burning in the Groan. Maybe down in the Twist, there's some fire that is, or at least smoke. I guess where there's smoke, there's probably fire. And Naldo says there's been a riot, and there's to be a case today at the Grand Court, and you have been called to second your uncle. You and Donino and myself will be representatives of the family. At this point, you are a minor house. You have a booth inside the palace, inside the Grand Court, in the gallery where you'll wind up going. You cross after a decent amount of time, as you have to push across town through the different canals. You disembark by the garden. There are a lot of commoners in the garden. They're standing around. The mood's a bit ugly. You push through. They don't stop you. There's none of that. But you can see as you enter the Grand Court, it's a long rectangular room. The far end of the rectangle has 6 seats. Actually 7, but it's usually empty because it is largely symbolic. But the 6 seats of the grand houses, plus the moderating seat from the church. And all of the seats are filled with the great lords of the houses, of the great houses. Most of the booths along the sides of this long rectangle have members of the different noble minor houses sitting in there. And then at the very far end of the rectangle where you enter, there's standing room only for the people. And it's packed with commoners. There's discussion ongoing towards the further end. Looks like there's a short, portly man who's wringing his hands, and he has a representative with him. You think it's by the colors of it's one of the tribunals of the people. And you see that on the other side, there's one of the watchmen of the guard. You can see the color of his clothes. As you get into the box, Naldo says, hey, it's an accusation. It's an accusation against the watch. That baker says he was beaten and extorted by the watch, by that one. They made their tribunal petition up to House Bjorn, who is the patron of the watch, but the petition was rebuffed, and there were riots. So the case is moved up. As you know, Any case brought before the Grand Council must have a sponsoring house, just in case it goes to the Court of Blades. The tribunal turns around at this particular moment and calls out in a loud voice for a sponsor for this case. Conspicuously, the Bakers Guild does not stand up and provide backing for their baker. In fact, they sit quietly, leaving this poor man dangling. Next to you, Uncle Pagolo raises his hand. House Bastion will sponsor this case. Yes, everyone's surprised.
Not surprised. Not in the slightest bit surprised.
Uncle Pagolo is a wheeler dealer, that is for sure. The watch declines to defend the watchman. So at this point, since there are no witnesses, it appears the baker and the watchman will have to meet in the Court of Blades. Unless, of course, the house that is sponsoring offers up a champion. Okay? So the tribune turns back to your house and asks, he says, Sire, will you provide us a champion? Your uncle sort of looks to the side at your cousin, who you know is the best blade in your house. Yeah, Donino. He sort of pats him on the arm. He says, yes, we will provide on one condition, that this case be expanded to represent overall mishandling of the watch by their patron house. There's stunned gasps at the implication. Now, any of the grand houses can, at a whim, just go ahead and veto that from happening. As you look across, you can see that the leader for House Bjorn is sort of reaching for his hand fan to go ahead and just veto that. And you can see that your uncle catches that movement, takes a deep breath, sucks air through his teeth, and says, we will be offering up and he coughs and it draws attention. He says, as is fitting for such a low case of failed responsibility, our house offers up Giacomo, our natural-born nephew, as champion. The hand moves back away from the fan. Sadly, your uncle has taken the chance to use your birth circumstances as a goad. There is agreement. And you now step into the Court of Blades. What happens next is that your sword master touches your arm and says, listen, their bladesman is good. I would lean towards defense to begin with, and then make your move as you can. But play this carefully. He is very quick, very quick. And I'm going to move roll 20 to a slightly different page so that you guys can see a little bit of what's going to happen. Hopefully this jumps across for you nicely. And you will be able to sort of see, standing right here, Fabiano Leon, who is the blade master for House Bjorn. John, there are some clocks there.
Mm-hmm.
If you notice, there's the top one says distract, misdirect, and it's a resetting clock. If you fill that clock, you'll be able to make an attack. But it will then reset, and you'll have to fill it up again. He is already a little distracted from being here at court, a little surprised that he's having to do this. He's a little fatigued, not too much. If you fill up the fatigue, you can take attacks as much as you wish. Same with defense. And he's a bit insulted, if you can see the taunt, anger, scare. He's been a bit insulted by this whole thing. He steps to the center of the long aisle in between the boxes for the minor houses. Takes off his coat. His silk shirt is tight. He was not expecting to be fencing today. There's a runner that has gone to get his correct blade. You have yours, thanks to the foresight of your blade master.
Now, I think it's very important at this point that we take a brief pause and say that actually you and I had a conversation at the weekend about in fact, Felix as well, we had a conversation at the weekend about what the correct form would be.
Yes.
And what weapons would be used for.
Yes. And that's my next question.
For this kind of combat. And I thought we had agreed that the correct form was going to be monkeys with
hand grenades.
No, I thought it was going to be monkeys with cutthroat razors, actually. And I'm bitterly disappointed that we just come down to boring old swords.
GM
it could
Fiat.
have been monkeys.
But I will ask you.
Trained monkeys. Come on.
Razor
Wonderful.
Missed the trick. Anyway, I did miss it. Stride, which I've just done. I do apologize. Carry on.
No. So I will ask you, in a normal duel outside of the Court of Blades, what would be the ending point? Blood? A touch? And what is it in the? What do you think? And what do you guys think for in the Court of Blades? Is this to the death?
I don't know. Anybody got any ideas? Death?
Or to a simple first blood?
What about to capitulation?
Just to concede.
Could see that. What do you guys think? I'll let you, Giacomo, since you're actually fighting this duel. What do you think?
No
idea. All right.
Sorry. I hadn't thought about it.
Then I will say that we will have as many passes as it takes to draw first blood. And a honorable man would try and do it without killing his opponent, but so be it. So you step into this aisle. He has his sword now. Presents it to you and salute. Swishes it down. And you guys step in towards each other. There's a swish sound as you sort of do your initial moves, and then it's all points. All points moving.
You bathed this morning.
Ha ha ha! Well played. So, what I'm going to ask you right now is he makes a quick move that is so lightning fast, you have to really react on this. He is trying to cut your earlobe, causing you to bleed and embarrass you. So with that, it's just a resistance roll. So what we'll do is you will pick a one of your skirmish or however you choose to use it.
That's going to be skirmish, isn't it?
Yes, sir. And then so you're going to roll that and subtract. So you
take control, desperate. Which one is it?
So it doesn't really matter for this because it's a resistance. So you can pick which one you want on there. It doesn't. I know that it's the little thing. And we'll subtract your highest die from 6, and look at that. That's what I like to see. I assume.
Sorry, subtract your highest die. What do you mean?
So for a resistance roll, you take 6 stress automatically. Then you make the roll, and your highest dice is subtracted from that number. The resulting amount left is how much stress you actually took from the move. With this, you take no stress, move aside easily, and look like a bit of a hero through this quick move. And I see you're sort of moving towards an attack, a little bit of a verbal one. Is that what I'm sensing with your goading?
Yes. So as he comes past, I just slide out of the way, and what I actually do is I put my sword up, and I let his sword swish past mine, and then I just sort of flap my sword about in the air, and then I pull this face of disgust and lean back, and goodness me, sir, how do you have the gall to lift your arms from your side with such a stink?
There's laughter from the crowd at back. Laughter from the crowd. So, with that, I'd like you to make a roll.
I sort of back off, and I waft my sword as if I'm trying to waft away his palm.
Very good. So make a roll. And what we'll be doing is you'll be ticking off clock pieces towards his being angered, which will make him vulnerable.
Okay, I'm going to. For some reason, I've cut that down. That's the wrong way around.
I'm sorry.
That's all right. I pressed the wrong button.
That's all good. And this is risky, and but standard effect. I like it. And so a 3 is, what is that? 1 piece, 1 pie piece. So what we do here, I go to the right place. And multi-sided, choose a side, and get you another piece. And he is angrier. He riposts back. This time, the shot, as you're coming in, he bounces your blade off of the bucket handle of his sword. So it goes a little high, and then he ducks low, trying to punch into your side. Looking at the angle of this, it looks like he's really going for a hit.
So
with that said...
Sorry, how come he gets a physical attack almost every go? Is it because he's good?
Yes, and just how this works. So now you can resist that, John, with your rolls to avoid being poked in the side. And we assume you'll resist it, depending on the stress. Come on. So you take 2 stress, and he does not connect as you push to the side.
So as he does that, I slide to the side, and what I do is I draw his feet out from underneath him. So basically, because he's unbalanced, he's coming from my side, and because he's ducking low, I notice that, and what I do is I slide around underneath him, and then I try to sweep his leg out from underneath. So basically, he basically, because he's lunging, I'm trying to sweep him so he goes flat on the floor.
Very good. And is this part of the angering...
And then if he goes flat on the floor, I'm going to basically stand on his neck and just give him the slightest nick on his hand. No, I'm going to do, is I'm going to stand on his hand that's holding his sword, and I'm just going to give him the slightest nick on his hand, and then step back.
So to accomplish that, you've got to fill up one of these clocks. Okay? Because he's that good. So what I'm saying is, I would make the roll with his angering, like you're doing. If you roll 1, 2, 3, 4, if you roll a 6 on angering him, that's 5 pieces. Okay? If you roll a 4 or 5, it's 3 pieces. You won't quite get there. Come on, 6. Okay.
5.
So you have 3 more pieces of anger. So you go to trip him, and he stumbles by, but you do not get the full effect that you would have liked.
But is that not a misdirect maneuver rather than a taunt? Because he's going for his legs.
I'm sorry.
When he went for his legs, didn't he?
3. So he did. So he can choose whichever role he wishes, but he is right now working his way up to breaking this guy's defenses down so that when he does just say, I do this attack, it's that attack.
Okay.
And this is something I learned from watching another couple of games on ways to make fights go a little bit more interesting. All right.
But what I'm trying to say is that doesn't sound like a taunt. That sounds more like a distract.
Well, it also was something that was, it's up to John. I think that the way he did it was in such a way that I don't mind it being towards taunt and angering, because the effect would have been a very humiliating fall to the floor.
Yeah. I'm not trying to harm him. I'm trying to piss him off so he lets his guard down.
So on this one, John, he swings back around, and this time you see that his rapier, of course, is sharpened on the sides, but now he just slashes towards your head. I will give you an extra die because his anger is building to avoid this particular event. And this is a resist roll. Come on, there's the 6 we wanted. You take no stress. You avoid that slash. And now you can choose to make your next move. And understanding that if you go above a 1, 2, or 3, you can go right into an attack. Okay.
So he comes at me, slashing.
Oh yes.
And I just parry, and then I stand there and go, ooh, slashy.
Wonderful. The crowd loves it. They're eating it up. All right. Let's make a roll. Wonderful. Nah. And you get an extra die.
Does that get one play piece, or I don't know?
You get an extra die, remember?
Oh, okay.
So throw on another one.
Not much better.
Fair enough. So you have gotten the last pie piece you needed, but you didn't get to move into your next attack, that's fine.
Okay. Fine.
You have angered him to the point that he is not able to fight well. So the way these clocks work, you could have sort of been pushing towards any of them to try and get this position, except for the distract misdirect, which only has 4 pieces, so you could possibly get it in one roll, except for the fact that it's a resetting one each time, right? But now you've got him on. He's angry. He is struggling to contain his emotions as he tries one more time to sweep your legs with his sword. You can resist, and you can have an extra die. So 3 die.
So he remains angry now.
Oh, yes. And then okay, so you take 1 stress and step elegantly aside, or however you choose to do it. Now you can attack. You've got him on the back foot. What do you wish to do?
So he's angry. He's swishing the sword at me. I feign at him. He comes at me. He gets up. He gets right up close to me. Right, and he pushes in, and he's almost physically wrestling with me. And I go, oh, stinky. And then I just all I do is I just bring my sword down very gently and just literally again just cut the edge of his knuckle with the corner of my rapier. Just go. And I go, whoa, get away from me.
Wow. All right. Make that roll. Let's see how well this goes. And this is risky with a standard effect. Absolutely.
5.
And it's a 5. So you do that. And we'll say that for the effect of it being a 5 is you are going to, whereas this guy might have laughed this off over a dinner with you later, that's not the case. you have made an enemy for life out of Fabiano. So be it.
So he pushes back and he snarls, and then I go and point at his hand, and he goes, huh? And there's just this tiny little drop of blood that's just leaking down the corner of his hand. He's so angry he didn't even notice what I'd done to him.
Clapping starts all through the building.
I put my sword up to him and I bow, but it's a really shitty bow.
Nice. Okay, I'm gonna have to make a luck roll here because this guy just may take a swing at you because he is so absolutely angry. What do we get? Oh, I can't even see because it's black. 3. Okay, 3. He does not. He backs off and moves back to his.
I like to think that rather than backing off, his retinue come out and grab him and sort of hold on to him because he's so angry. He's trying to come after me, and I'm just
make the fiction say so. I like it. Absolutely. Yeah. So at this point, there's a hush.
I'm going to walk up. Sorry, I'm going to walk back to my uncle. I'm going to take my blade and I'm going to give it back to my blade master, and I'm going to walk over to my uncle and I'm going to say to him, just going to lean up to his ear, and I'm going to say to him, "Don't do that again."
Well done, boy. It's all good. A silence comes over the crowd as they're waiting for some sort of decree. You can tell that there's some whispering going back and forth between different ones of the houses. They've got runners moving in between them. And then Sandro, His Eminence, High Prince of the City, the Corvetto of the Corvetto family, stands. The issue is found in favor of the accuser. Watchman Sandro Calbo is sentenced to death, turning of the tide 1 month hence. And in the matter of patronage of the watch, House Bjorn is deemed unsuitable as a sponsor. As House Bjorn lacks any other patronage responsibilities, they are henceforth removed from the list of the houses of the Esultare. And it seems only appropriate that a house such as Bastion, who have risked much in defense of our abused citizen, should assume the mantle of patronage of the watch. We, the council, expect a report in a month to this body, ourselves, on your planned reforms of the watch. House Bastion, welcome to the Esultare. House Bjorn leaves furious, and we skip a year ahead. All right. So I hope you guys now see where your house sort of came from, how you maneuvered and took advantage of the situation, how the people like you, and you guys are now one of the grand houses, though the lowest and the one struggling to see exactly where they're going to go. So what I'm going to do is make sure I move the right pieces on Roll20 so I don't mess this up. Aha! So your uncle, later on, told you to form a coterie. Says we need a knack, preferably one of noble birth, so we can get them where they need. We need and he goes through this list, to which you have formed your coterie. Okay, the people who are part of your group, you've done a couple of errands together for the house, and are getting some likes from your friends. And let me move over here to where I want to be. All right. So what we're doing now is, Naldo, is we need you to escort some of our seniors to a party. We have fear that there is a move afoot to discredit our house. in a public manner. We also fear that there is a threat of violence that will be blamed on a lack of support from the watch, and therefore will fall on our shoulders. What we need is for you to join. Let me see here. Loto. This is another of your uncles, Giacomo. Loto and Vittoria. They will be our representatives at the summer ball. And what I will say there is, with Loto and Vittoria, we are going to jump across. You can see the engagement roll screen. This will take place on a pleasure barge, drifting slowly through the canals. So you guys can let me know for doing this. It's probably social. It could be deception. It could be arcane. But what is your method of sort of protecting your family in this strange situation?
I would agree it's a social thing.
And probably Loto and Victoria are your points, your connections, though you will find other connections there. So my next question to you all is this errand bold or daring? Not sure yet. Do you think you guys deserve a die for anything there?
So our goal is to protect them.
Yes.
From social embarrassment.
Social embarrassment, possibly physical.
Okay. What if we were to use it as a way of turning the tide and embarrassing those who try and...
I'm perfectly happy to give you that dice if you feel that you guys are going to make this a bit bold or daring, which sounds like the type of group you are. So what about your house strengths? So House Bastion's strengths are, I'd have to look back really rapidly, unless you guys can throw those off of your character sheet really quick.
Transport was 1.
Transport is 1. I think that would give you a +1D because this is a transporting type event.
It is a vehicle.
It is a vehicle and doing that. Mm-hmm. Friends or contacts, insight, yes. You have, and sadly, also there are enemies and rivals interfering, so those will cancel. Will this endanger or reflect poorly on one of your paramours? Not yet. Will you allow your... Okay, other factors. Any other factors? I think we have 2 die at this point.
I would say that what we're going to do is leverage our transport strength, but also the citizenry. So the waiters and waitresses and the lowborn citizenry who are servicing this affair will be waiting for our word to assist us.
Very good. So
that's our special ability, the waters in which we swim.
Very good. That gives you another die, doesn't it?
It does.
Very good. So
don't forget we've got the lady's blessing that we can also use at some point during the engagement.
The lady's blessing as well.
That sounds very, very good.
Additional die. I don't know whether you want to do that at the start though.
It's up to you. What do you guys think?
How many die have we got now?
3. Am I right?
3 die. Probably enough, do you think? Do you want to save the lady's blessing?
Yeah.
And then the last question here is, what is your load? In this game, there's only 2 levels. And honestly, there's only one really right answer for this particular session, unless you are trying to stand as a guard at the side and you know actual social stuff. I would say discreet is probably where you're at, which is 3.
Yeah, discreet. I would definitely be discreet.
Very good.
In my undiscreetness.
And Martin, are you familiar with how that works?
No, but I do have the rules.
So what I can say is, on your character sheet, you'll see that there's a list of all the things you've got, and I'll bring up your character sheet so people online can sort of see it, maybe. And if you look, okay, it's going to be down below your
on the right-hand side.
On the far right-hand side. So if you pick your load, which, like I said, discrete is almost required in the situation, you see it says 1 to 3. So pretty much anything on that list you can click off when you need it. You don't have to say ahead of time what you got. Okay? So if you say you want to use your fine photographic memory, that's really neat. Click it. Click the box, you've used it. If you want to find disguise, there you go. If you want a large weapon, well, that's 2 boxes. So you see how that works?
Oh, yes. Yeah.
So instead of having to plan ahead on what you're carrying, you just say it when you need it. Most of you will probably at least have, at some point on here, a small pistol or at least a courtly blade that's not considered unfashionable or uncouth. I know in some games it's considered that way, but I just can't imagine that people would not have their rapiers with them if they so choose. Okay, so we have done that.
Also,
go ahead.
Also, Anthony, if you don't mind,
please,
Martin, where on your gear where it's grey, you've always got those, and they do not count to the load.
Good.
Similar to Blades in the Dark.
Yes.
Okay, so you can use those, and they're free. It's only the stuff that's underneath that that grey gearbox that you need to tick off as part of your loading.
All right. Summer has settled on Ilrian like a stifling, unwanted coarse woolen blanket. Only as the sun sinks below the horizon does the irritating blanket finally slide into the cool waters of the bay, leaving the populace relieved and almost giddy, now swaddled in the cool silk sheets of evening. Lights appear along the canals as the shops reopen, and from their doors, restaurants spill tables, chairs, and soft laughter onto the winding esplanades. A pleasure barge, complete with a string quartet and masked nobles dancing, passes slowly down the canal, leading from the Gilt to the Rose districts. Small craft ply between it and the canal-side bars and restaurants, bringing the noble entourage whatever their hearts desire. It's a glamorous event, and the ball gowns and fine suits are almost comfortable in the slight breeze. This is no simple get-together. The revelers are here to celebrate the 15th birthday and social coming out of Prince Carlo de Corvetto's chubby little granddaughter, Tita. Tita is wearing silk and cream lace over a yellow dress stitched with stars that cover the skirt and flounce, while the unremitting yellow comes up to a sweetheart bodice. Prince Carlo dotes on this young daughter, on his daughter Dianora, and through her, it's magnified down to Tita, his granddaughter. Now, Prince Carlo is back about over here, guys. Prince Carlo holds court at a small table as far from the string quartet as possible. He sips his coffee, and from behind his ornate red and gold mask studies the fawning crowd, hungrily looking for insults to avenge. House Bastian is attending as expected. Loto and Vittoria Bastian, as members of this newest house of the Esostari, comport themselves with grace and studied reserve. Loto, a grandfather himself from a previous marriage, is quick to break the ice by offering the first dance to Tita de Corvetto. Vittoria, Loto's much younger wife, works through the crowd carefully, dropping compliments and listening for gossip. You are here as Vittoria's honor guard and Loto's. The barge is about twice as long as it is wide, and the string quartet sits on a raised platform at the bow. Dancing is just below the string quartet, and below that are the scattering of tables on the aft of the barge. Now, I said Lodo took the first dance. It's not quite the first dance. There is a formal dance prior to that. And in this particular dance, the cadets, a select group of cadets from the academy, are to dance with the ladies from Rosetta's finishing school. Tita, as a member of that school, is paired, you guys notice, with a very handsome young cadet, Jorah Coltwell de Battalia, a cadet sponsored by Hospitalia and quite handsome. You notice that Genelia Battalia seems to be assessing the pair, and that Tita Corvetto leaves the dance floor blushing furiously. Does anyone know Jorah Coltwell?
Maybe.
I'm pausing for just a second as you look at your character sheets.
Mm-hmm.
And Christine, do you know this young man?
Sorry, I think I do. The name certainly rings a bell. I'm just trying to work out whether I do or not.
He's your paramour.
Oh.
He is.
I did not see that coming.
Ah.
Neither did I.
Twist.
Very interesting. Yeah. So the dance is over, and she moves to the side of the dance floor with a group of young girls, their friends. And you guys are, I guess, circulating, or do you want to position yourselves? It's up to you. What do you think?
I'm positioning myself. I'm on guard. I'm watching the crowd like a hawk, and I'm keeping myself behind Lady Victoria.
Very good.
Pietro is circulating, but he's staying within listening distance of Tita.
Very good. I like it.
I am dancing and circulating and listening and watching, and more importantly, my grandfather is doing the same.
I'm sorry about the grandfather? One more time?
Yeah, my grandfather is doing the same. It's my familiar spirit.
Ah, yes. Very good. Though
Thank you.
No one else can see him beside you, I think, is the case.
Clemenza can, who is one of my contacts. She is the only other person who can see him.
That's right. That's right. Very, very good. So at this, and Giacomo, where are you?
Sat at the back.
Very good.
Slumped in a chair, watching.
Very, very good. Are you on the same side near the prince over here? Or maybe, oh, you're closer to the dance floor. No, over here. Got it. Perfect. You do see, as you guys had arranged, there are a group of watchmen strolling lazily on either side of the canal as the boat progresses, providing just a little bit of cover, looking out for any potential issues that might bother the folks on the boat. You're probably watching them a little bit too to make sure that they're not screwing anything up. One of the things that concerns you, Giacomo, is as the nobles wave over the small ships, the small boats, the skiffs, the gondolas, and they run back and forth bringing iced wines and sweet meats of different sorts. That seems to be a weak point in the whole security of this. So that is something you're sort of keeping an eye on. At this point, let me see. Pietro, a very lovely lady wearing a dark, dark red dress, steps right in your way and says, "A dance."
So do I know her? Do I recognize her?
I don't know if you do. She'll introduce herself. She says, "I'm Moon de Lavelle."
Mouse just chose that point to conk out. Sorry, is that for me?
No, that was for Pietro.
No, I can't hear you, Anthony.
Anybody
else?
Any other issues?
Yeah, we can hear.
Sound off, folks. I can't hear anybody.
Hello?
I can't hear anyone.
Just
hello.
Okay.
That's your first Skype issue. Then
can you kind of wave if you can hear me? Oh, okay. Thank you. Thank you, Martin, for nodding. Okay, I got no idea what's happened. I can't hear anybody.
That blows. So for a second, so John, if someone can type to him that the camera has turned over to Pete, that might help him feel a little bit better about us. He's trying to get his stuff sorted again. So Pietro, what is your thought? She introduces herself. She says, "My name is Moon de Lavelle." You recognize Lavelle as one of the top houses.
Yes, yeah. So, your servant, madam.
And you do know this dance. Absolutely know this dance.
So, well,
Pietro. Good. Do.
He's going to offer his arm and lead her to the dance floor.
Very nice. You still remain fairly close to Tita as you struggle a bit with Moon almost trying to lead.
Not having that.
Ah, very good.
Pietro, madam, I must admire your fine dress this evening.
Ah.
Is that Altori silk?
Thank you very much. Very nice of you to know that. And yourself, your shirt. That is something glorious. I must know the name of your tailor.
Ah, yes, Master Jan. I mean, I must admit, he is a fellow countryman from Altori, which, as we all know, although Ilrian is the finest city in the world,
Master Gian,
its finest.
Is he the one with that odd daughter?
I like to think that she is eccentric.
Ah. I have walked by the windows sometimes. The displays are different.
Yes, yes. But his clothes, you must admit, are beautifully made.
Wonderful. I would like you feel that the way that this dance is working is she is working you towards something. It's that sort of the give and take when you give the slight squeeze to her hand to tell her to spin. She comes out of the spin where you have to reach a little bit, and it's moving you a little bit across the floor.
So I'm going to. I would like to try a sway roll to keep us where we were.
Very good. And this will be the only risk to it is that you might stumble or miss a beat. So it's but it does have the social risk to it. But the effect will be great. You will completely control the dance.
So a controlled position or risky position?
It's no risky. Just socially risky. Aha! Look at that. Am I dropped? Oh no. So
let
us.
No.
No, you're not. You're not. Ignore that.
Okay.
That's just.
John's gone.
Yeah, I told him that his
jump
his
on and off
stopped.
All right.
Yeah, I think it's his usual Skype issues.
I don't understand. I thought he had fixed that. Darn it. Okay, so you maintain. Go ahead.
With 6, yes. I mean, Pietro's dance skills are far better than hers.
Yes.
And
Very nice.
Effortlessly turns her back into position whenever she tries to maneuver him away.
Very nice. I like that very much.
And in the meantime, engages her in small talk as well.
I love it.
Distract her from the fact that she's not succeeding very well.
So, who of your group knows Moon de Lavelle?
It's not me.
And is watching you dance with her.
Yeah, and also he doesn't give two fucks. Can I say fuck?
So you know that Moon would be happy to see you or yours in a bad situation.
Ah, yeah, big time. I mean, I'm quite surprised she's not throwing the oysters under my feet already.
Yes. So Moon, at the end of the dance, you are still roughly where you were, which is right in front of Tita de Corvetto. Moon turns to her and says, you must absolutely try a dance with this most talented of gentlemen. He is a connoisseur of high fashion and beauty. And she bows to you nicely, and Tita reaches her hand out. You can feel eyes upon you.
So, reading the social situation, would this be a faux pas?
No, not the dance itself, but it will be watched carefully.
Pietro does his best courtly bow, offers her his arm, takes her out to the dance floor.
Wonderful.
And he will do his best to make sure that her dancing is as beautiful as possible.
Wonderful.
Because it's all about her tonight.
That is. I like it. And we will have a roll for this, just because we're adding some level of risk. Where Giacomo is sitting, which I don't know if he's back on or can hear us.
Nope.
But
he does look good in the on the stream.
Yes, he does, which is really important.
He does. Very animated.
Is he working it?
I think he is. All that he needs is a tutu, and he'll strut his stuff up and down.
So, okay, if you can definitely touch base with him, Rob, and let him know that from where he is sitting, he can see the Corvetto Prince is avidly watching and looking for any evidence of a slight to his granddaughter. Okay. This is actually one of the more risky dances that you may have ever had. The position you start with is desperate.
Okay.
In that the slightest flaw to make her look foolish or hurt her feelings or whatever could be perceived as a dangerous insult to House Corvetto. But with your usual aplomb, you will move towards that, and if you succeed, it will be with standard effect. Now you can, of course, spend stress to move from desperate to risky, or to take a die towards your success. And let me know what you want to do.
I'm going to take a die, use some stress to take a die.
Okay.
Okay.
Very good. In this desperate situation. Wow. Interesting choice.
I'm going to try and resist that.
Okay. So the effect of that would have been a social damage of 1 embarrassed. If you would like to resist that and do away with it, let us do that. So you take 6 stress and then roll to see what you subtract from that.
Okay. Come on. Where is it?
Let's see how this recovery happens. Aha. Wow. So 4 stress. So 5 stress total on this particular maneuver because of the, not this one, but including the one from gaining the extra dice. So you just took 4.
So Pietro feels that someone in the crowd puts a foot out, try and trip him.
I can see that.
He stumbles slightly,
but recovers. Absolutely,
but he manages to hold the young lady up so she doesn't fall, and he apologizes profusely. I'm so sorry, my lady. I am just too much in awe in your presence. Skills are abandoning me tonight.
I hear that you are, well, the lady said that you are a connoisseur of fine things. What do you think of my dress?
It is the finest, my lady, of course. I must say you have never looked lovelier. I have admired you from afar, of course.
So once again, her dress, like I put out, it's yellow silk with cream lace, silver stars stitched to cover the skirt and flounce, while an unremitting field of yellow silk forms up to the sweetheart bodice. And it goes well with her olive tones, although she is a portly young thing.
I must say that your fashion sense is on point this season. Yellow is definitely the color to be wearing.
At that point, Rob, Mauchlin, how do you know that magic is being used, aside from the fact that Pietro's compliments on the dress are coming out louder than he intended, not to a shout, but to a high enough voice that all around him can hear his compliments?
How do I know?
Yes.
I don't. I only know the fact that.
So I have established a truth. You know. How do you know?
Right. Okay. So if you've established the truth, right. So my grandfather has, whilst mingling, he saw the person who attempted to trip.
Very good.
Pietro.
Very good.
And also, he's told me that the person is amplifying the air in front of Pietro, especially round the mouth. So I'm going to try to do two things. Firstly, I'm going to create a damp patch, like wet water, under the person's feet that try to trip him, so that when they move, they slip. Okay. And I'm going to do that by the moisture in the air, and I'm going to get it to settle on the deck. Okay. So I'm going to employ water, stroke, wind mechanics there. The second thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to try and push a faint breeze to go through between Pietro and his dance partner to try and remove the magic that is currently there.
Very good.
Okay. So I'm going to channel my ass off. I'm going to take some stress.
Yes. Very good. Let's see this.
Now, do you want me to make 2 rolls?
Just one. What I'll say is you have identified the person. It looks like it's Nicolo de Elanda. And John's not on camera right now, but John would know who that person is.
Okay. So when this person's doing it, I'm imagining that there'll still be concentration and also to amplify the voice, concentration plus also maybe some finger movements of some sort to try and, gesticulate the action for the wind to carry the voice.
Okay.
So,
Yeah,
in which case, what's he wearing?
It's very, very slight. He is wearing a set of blue hose down to black dancing shoes with silver buckles. Above that, he has a also sort of the royal blue with black tracings of swallows in flight, and on his coat, and there's ruffles at the sleeves, and he has an upturned collar that is about halfway up the back of his head, also with that blue and black swallow motif.
Okay, so I'm going to change one action. Okay, instead of trying to force the amplification away, I'm going to shrink his collar, his cuff, so it tightens around his throat.
Ah, very interesting. What do you grab to do that?
The air and the cotton. I would imagine it would be cotton.
Very good.
Okay, so the air and the cotton, they would be fused because it would have a rough lace type, so there would be holes within the fabrics for the air to go round, and I'm going to gently pull that back so it applies a medium amount of pressure. And then I'm going to look at the guy, and whilst I'm dancing with my partner, whoever she would be,
absolutely,
and because you could never tell, not even in the 1600s, and I'm going to just smile and wink, and then whilst the lady is turned with her back towards him, so I can see him, with one hand, with one finger, I'm just going to go
Very nice. Let's see this roll. Let's make it happen.
And if that doesn't work, I'm going to get my grandfather to punch the living shit out of him.
Well, let's make this roll. Let's see what happens.
Okay, so I'm going to go through a channel because I need to. Is it risky or is it desperate?
Yes, it is. It's going to be just risky, and we'll have a standard effect on here. Let's see how this plays.
And I'm going to apply stress. So here comes the roll.
Oh, look at that.
Boom.
Well done. So the amplification effect drops away immediately. However, people are still sort of looking over their shoulders at this haute voice compliments of the yellow dress. And then you feel pain in your hand. And it is a direct move from this person. And Giacomo, this person who is now attacking Rob, or attacking Moklan, you know it's Niccolo de Elanda, the fawning noble who is a down arrow friend. Happens to be a member of the Elanda family, also happens to be their senior house knack.
Okay.
Well, excuse me, I've got absolutely no idea what's happening.
Ah, absolutely.
I lost the Skype audio. I had to reboot.
No problem.
I came back in. Audio went again.
This is a great
Every week I miss slabs of time.
Understand.
And it's driving me mad.
I'm so sorry. We will have to fix
driving
this.
me absolutely mad. Sorry.
Sometime this week.
I'm really very frustrated. I noticed that Pete was typing, so that's good to know.
Okay.
I think just ignore me. Just pretend I'm not there for the moment until I've got a better idea of what's going on.
What we're going to do is we'll pause for just a second and let the folks here tell you what's going on. We'll start with Pietro and what's happening with him.
Rob did message me and say that the fat kid in the yellow dress was how you described her he was looking for people who are going to be insulting about her or something.
So
Pete.
Tito de
Corvetto,
who is the young lady in the yellow dress. Who's this
Tito, yeah.
Yeah. Pietro was manoeuvred into giving her a dance, and then someone tried to trip him.
Who maneuvered you? That's important for Giacomo as well.
That was Moon de Lavelle tried to maneuver Pietro away from Tita de Corvetto, but then when that failed, she basically put the situation so that he had to dance with Tita.
Who's Pietro?
Pietro is Pete.
Me.
Oh, you. Okay.
Yeah. So then, as I say, someone tried to trip him. He resisted that. And now there appears to be a spell which is amplifying his voice so that everyone is hearing him as he compliments her on her dress. That's when Mocklin identified who was casting the spell and also, incidentally, who tried to trip Pietro. Mm-hmm. And then he used Channel to try and tighten his collar for warning. But that person who cast the spell was Niccolo de Alanda, who apparently you know for some reason.
Mm-hmm. On your character sheet, yes. So he happens to be the senior house knack for House Alanda, as well as a down-arrow friend of our friend Giacomo for whatever reason. Very good.
I knew I should have just
probably so.
I knew I should have just squished his brains.
So you find yourself.
You got to find them first.
Yeah. His wife keeps them in the drawer. So Mocklin, there is a test of strength right now, as it's almost a magical handshake where you're both squeezing, just to sort of see who's the freaking boss.
Okay.
And the pain in your hand is intense, but you know that the pain you're giving back is too. I'd like a roll of some sort to.
Where is he? In comparison to me.
So he is on the dance floor somewhere. Now, I don't know if you would know, somewhere out here. I don't know if you would know that what's happening yet.
Okay, don't worry about it.
Here.
Okay, so whereabouts is he?
He's somewhere in here, and you're somewhere. It's about 2 or 3 dance partners away from
you. Okay.
As you casually dance, pretending not to be gritting your teeth at the crunch of your bones sort of pushing together in your hands.
Yeah, right, okay. So okay, I'm not going to use my focus. I don't think I need to use my focus. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to keep the pressure on his ruff. But I'm also going to move all the air from in front of his face to apply that pressure onto his ruff. So the pressure gets greater and he struggles to breathe because there is literally just a vacuum in front of him because it's all basically going past his face to the back.
Very good. And he tries to resist that as you're doing your squeezing.
So can I take another 2 stress?
Absolutely.
I'll take the 2 stress. That will be another channel.
Let's do it.
Same again?
Yes, sir. And it's, risky and absolutely, come to Papa.
Yeah, I got a 4, so that's all right.
4 is a success.
I'm more likely to end up with a broken hand.
So how we'll play this is, there's a sort of as if you were both squeezing each other's hands. There comes that point where 2 gentlemen will just sort of let go mutually because they know, okay, yeah, if we go any further, somebody's going to get a broken hand. I'd like to break his hand, but he might break mine, and you both just sort of let go.
Yeah. Well, as soon as I feel the pressure leave from my hand, I drop everything.
And he drops the effects he was pushing your way as well, which seemed to be largely based on pain as well. It felt like there were needles bearing down on different points on your body, and he was trying to get you to squeal out loud in public. So thankfully, you succeeded, and you both back off.
Yeah.
Okay.
So what I'm going to do is I'm going to say to the lady that I'm actually dancing with. Well, actually, what I do is I go, ready for a spin. Sorry, I say to her, ready for a spin, then, my lovely. And I spin her, and as she goes out onto my outreached arm, I then do a courtly bow in Nicolo's direction, and it is spot on royal courtly bow. And then I bring the lady back in, and then we carry on dancing.
He gives you the same bow. Very good. Now we're going to jump to another event that's going on. Lorenzo, how is it that you know that Isabella La Bella is about to have a seizure? She is sitting towards the bow on the edge of the boat, listening to the music, and her gaze starts to grow distant. But how do you know?
Because I've seen it before, and one of her eyelids starts flickering a bit.
Okay, that's happening.
So, who's around her?
There's the dancers who are close to her. There's the musicians who are next to her.
So is she at the north end of that picture?
Yes. So we'll call her about here. Okay.
And where am I?
Where do you want to be? Yeah, that sounds good.
About there,
you can probably get across fairly rapidly.
Right. And is there music or not?
Yes. Actually, no. It is just paused in between sets. The musicians are taking drinks from the side of the boat as small boats are coming up, and the dancers are fluttering fans upon themselves to cool down and are taking iced drinks from the side as well.
Okay, so just as she's, just as I can see this is happening, I'm trying to gain everyone's attention. So I'm going to have lit fire paper in my hands. And I'm going to ignite it in both my hands, so that suddenly both my hands, there's the shooting flames coming out of them.
Brilliant. All eyes turn your way, and there's some clapping.
Yeah. And the next thing. Sorry.
Go ahead.
So the next thing I'm going to do is take out some playing cards and start juggling with them.
Okay. So what I'd like you to do is to cover for her brief seizure. I'd like you to make a roll, because this is one of your things you do, is you constantly try and cover for her and her hidden problem.
Let me just get my character sheet. So this would probably be...
This is desperate. This is desperate, and it's going to have limited effect. And what I'm saying is that there are people right next to her who might be seeing her, and she could possibly slump and go over the side. There's all sorts of terrible things that could happen. Now, you can absolutely spend stress to move that to a standard effect, or you can spend stress to move it from desperate to risky. You can spend stress for extra dice. It's up to you. Ladies' favor, you tell me.
So, sorry, just quickly, Isabella La Bella is...
So some of you may not know her. This young lady of a noble family yet to be identified is the paramour of Lorenzo.
Okay. Thank you.
So I'm going to use consort.
Very good.
Yeah,
I like it.
I'm going to spend some stress.
Okay.
Just bear with me. My character sheet's gone again. It's in the wrong layer. So how many stress do I spend for an extra die?
Just 2. And are you keeping it desperate and you're keeping it limited?
Well, I get to change that, do I?
You can for 2 stress.
Well, I just want an extra die. Then
okay. Go with the extra die. Now, understand that the limited effect will mean that even if you're fully successful, there will be some repercussions.
Okay. Well, let's make it standard effect then.
Okay. So you don't get an extra die, but you do burn 2 stress, and it's now up to a standard effect where you will cover for her completely. You can take a lady's favor, which is an extra die, or there's an extra die that I think your team has lying around.
What's the lady's favor?
You tell me. What do you think? What would you accept as a complication for an extra die?
For an extra die, as I'm doing it, I sprain my ankle.
I'm perfectly happy to do that. Very good. You will take a level 1 harm of sprained ankle in your acrobatics, but you will get the extra die. Very good. Look at that. There's the 6 you wanted.
Yep.
You have completely covered for her momentary lapse. As you watch, it's more than you've seen before. There's some twitching as well. And it looks briefly like she's about to fall backwards into the water, but then she slumps forward and comes out of it.
Right.
Okay.
Yep. So is she back to normal now, or is she still?
She looks a little stunned, but she is now sitting in control of herself. And the musicians start to play. It looks like another set is starting, so you can put your cards and things away.
Okay. Can I listen out to see if there's any chatter or?
Absolutely, and I'm not going to charge you for that. Though there is no chatter about what happened with her. There is chatter about the interesting fact that that your house decided to provide some set entertainment.
Okay.
Very good. I need to move to Monty. I'd like to know something. What pretext does Alaric give to try and challenge you to a duel here and now? And by the way, Alaric de Almare, mercenary captain of House Almare, is one of your down arrow buddies.
He is.
What's his pretext?
Well,
you've seen him across the dance floor.
Yeah, he's not happy. He's not happy that his sister and seems to be quite taken with me.
That's true.
And he doesn't like this. He doesn't like this fact. He doesn't. No. He does not like that. Very protective, which is fair enough. But I think he has plans. I think he has some kind of. I think he wishes for somebody more higher social standing than the caravaneer dock working sailor sort of type.
Do you think that he thinks more highly of you now that you've been picked up by one of the great houses?
Probably not.
Probably not at this point. Fair enough.
He's like, why should? I imagine it's probably a bit like, what's he done to deserve this one? You know?
So he wants to pull you into a duel. What pretext is he going to use? What imagined insult? What slight is he trying to use as a reason to force you into a duel. As he strides across the dance floor towards you, this is his plan. What is his plan? How is he going to throw shade upon you?
Yeah. Well, I think he probably thinks that that Monty had her out in the late hours and made a bit of a scene, and taking her to some less than savory parts of the town.
You have dishonored his sister. Oh, very, very nice. So he's coming over, and you can see that he's pulled out one of his gloves from his belt. And you know that he probably intends to slap you with that and cause this scene. This is not a scene you want.
No.
Giacomo, you see this as well. So from where you're sitting, you're watching the over here. You're watching the guardsmen on either side walking. You're watching the Corvetto lead as he is eyeing everyone. You're watching all that's going on. Standing, we'll say somewhere roughly over here on your side of the boat is Monty. And striding across from probably about over here, having made up his mind, is this Alric de Almare. So, Monty, how do you choose to, before anyone else can get involved, what is your initial reaction to either diffuse the situation or carry it well beyond or move it somewhere else, or what's your thought?
Well, as you can see see this thing, he's clocked that he's there, and he's kind of tell that he's coming towards them. He's like, right, but as he's been on boats and barges and things before, he decides, right, I need to go and find. And he calls out to one of the other workers on the boat and goes, "Pole, give me the pole, give me the barge pole. There's something. We've got something off the bow. We don't want to run into it. There's a crate or a barrel in the. I saw something in the canal. Nice. Give me the pole. Give me the pole."
So with that said, in the fiction, we have that there are certain people at the edge of this barge with poles to sort of fend off boats that are trying to sell things that shouldn't, as well as, if for some reason there was an issue, to push away from the edge.
Yep.
Largely the ship is being pushed along at a below rate of flow of the river, just by magic. However, the poleman next to you hands it to you. Yes, sire, and you have the pole.
Thank you. Thanks, mate. All right, and I kind of walk down the side of the boat towards where I said towards the bow, and I was gonna, and then look over the side. I'm not going to lean over in case he decides to give me a shove.
So he comes up behind you. Now you put him in a situation where he's not coming face to face. Giacomo, you see this. This guy has sort of made a loop to follow up to about here.
So as I was watching this, I could see what was going on. So I stood up and I very slowly. Well, I advanced. Actually, no, I very quickly advanced down the deck. Made sure he wasn't watching me, and as he turned, and he goes towards where Monty's standing, I walk up behind him.
Very nice.
Right up behind him, and
very nice.
I just stand right behind him with my chin basically on his shoulder, and I put my arm round and up onto his chest here.
Very nice.
And I whisper in his ear, very, very gently, just whisper in his ear. Perhaps it's time to reconsider who you're spending the evening with.
Very nice. So what I'd like you to make, John, is roll. And I don't care what it is, of course, because it's the game. I just to add the tension to this moment, I'd love a roll.
So, I am going to sway him.
Okay, I like it. His hand has rested now onto the pommel of his. He actually is carrying a saber. Okay. A little gauche for right now. When
I'm going to take 2 stress, take an extra dice.
Very good.
Just
because
otherwise I don't want to get Monty in trouble. But Monty, you're looking over your you're just looking out the corner of your eye. You've got your pole and you're in the water, and you're fake pushing away the crate and barrel that you just invented. And you're looking over your shoulder at this, and you just see me come up behind him, and you see my chin rest on his shoulder, and you see my lips go to his ear, and you see my hand come up around his side. One of my hands has come up, and it's just landed on his chest, and his hand is going to the pommel of his sword.
May I offer something just because I like the idea in this fiction? What if, Monty, you were to take the butt of that pole and accidentally put that right in his solar plexus?
Yeah, I was thinking of hitting him either on the foot or the, or in the midriff.
Then we can move the roll to Monty instead of you, Giacomo. Is that okay?
Fine.
It's up to you guys.
That's a different role. All I'm doing then is I'm just distracting him, so I'll give you an extra dice.
Absolutely, and you do get an extra die. I love it
because I've distracted him, and you're going to whack him.
Yeah,
and then I'll carry him away. And go, oh dear, I think he's fainted.
This could be good.
Skullcon maneuver in this one probably more.
It's up to
probably
you.
More maneuver, I guess. But
I love it. Sure.
I'll try and subtly go right. Dealt with it.
Bonk.
Bonk. Exactly. Yeah.
Where are you aiming for? Solar plexus, face?
Middle. Yeah, I don't want to do too many lasting injuries because they'll just annoy him even more.
Just make him lose his breath completely.
I'd rather not have a saber in the back.
Yes, very kind, very very good. I think Giacomo will probably have a something to say before he gets to any type of attack. But very good.
Control. This is.
No, this is risky.
Risky.
And but it will be for standard effect.
Okay. See what this does. Bonus dice. We've got bonus dice.
Yes, you do. You have
do I get one? Do I get a bonus dice being this is a transport item? The barge pole is a transport.
I'm not going to give you that, but I will give you the extra one for Giacomo with his distraction. I think that's wonderful.
Fair enough. I'll go for that then. Ooh. That's 6. He takes the barge pole to the stomach.
Let's see it. Though that's the roll. 5.
That's the roll. Yes, 5 and 6. Yeah.
That is fancy. Okay, so tell me what this does to him.
As the pole hits him in the middle, he goes, and then coughs up a little bit and bites down on his tongue at the same time and goes,
wonderful. You feel him stiffen in your arms, Giacomo.
So
I think he's trying to speak.
So as you I see you coming with this pole. I see you reverse hitting with the pole. You thump it into him, and then I just literally after you've done it, he doubles, and all I do is I spin him away and basically into the dancing, whirling crowd. The idea being that the hit that you've given him is therefore nobody else notices. So what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to hide the fact.
And in this particular city, in this particular age, if you choose to dance with him, that is no big deal. Would you like to pretend to dance with him across the floor?
So so what I'm going to do is I'm going to dance with him a little bit across the dance floor.
I love it.
Right?
As he's gasping for air.
He's like this. He's wheezing.
Well done.
He's desperate for breath. And I get back to basically where we started from. And I spin him around as if I'm dancing with him, and I come up right up close to him, and I say to him, "My house doesn't take too kindly to approaches of this nature.
Very good.
Watch yourself. Next time, might suffer permanent harm."
I love it.
And then I just whirl away and melt back into the crowd.
Oh, the fiction develops, and it is so exciting and tasty.
I would like to skulk past through the crowd and just give him a pat on the a knowing pat on the shoulder as he walks by.
Very well done. Oh, you guys are so good at what you do. So, at this point, I'd like to sort of rotate around the scene because there will be one more sort of event that I'm going to throw out. But I'd like to sort of rotate around you guys and see some of the things you are doing in this period, who you're talking to, any sort of last minute things you're doing as we're getting towards the end of this party. So with that, let's go to Rob's character, Mucklin. You have finished your dance. There's been sessions. What are you thinking at this point? What do you want to do? Is there anyone you'd like to talk to before you end this evening?
Well, honestly, do I do this in character? No, I'll do this as a player. Honestly, I've seen everything that's gone on. I've heard everything that's gone on. I've also heard things going on that I haven't actually heard going on because my grandfather's relaying very important bits of information that we can use later. Quite honestly, I'm kind of angered by the insult that these peasants have decided to put on the house. All I want to do is burn this barge and everyone on it. But I have a friend who would tell me some wise words of wisdom, which is, without the peasants, the pheasants roam. No, hang on. Without the no. He would say something really wise that would actually stop me from burning the whole barge and everybody on it. So I'm going to try and reflect and try and remember what he said so that it kind of calms me down. But what I am going to do is I kind of see straight away that Geo is kind of the front man for our coterie, and I'm going to sidle over and express my concerns to him and point out and pass on not all of the juicy tidbits that grandfather's got, but some of it, because this is completely 100% a setup to make us fail.
Yes.
And I'm after blood because nobody treats me like that.
Very good. And Lorenzo, you have picked up your cards, and your leg hurts, your ankle. You can see Isabella Labella as moving your direction. Do you have any questions or thoughts or anything? Do you wish to speak with her?
I'm maneuvering around the crowd, entertaining them with like a puppet, which is bones, like bones attached to some very fine silk, and they're moving in midair. But I'm also kind of, as she passes, I'm just checking out that she's okay.
She says to you in passing, and let me get to where I have this written down. I apologize because I want to say this correctly. She says, "It passed underneath us. It was horrific. It had swords for fingers. Someone's controlling it, but it roams free at night. It was just there. It was underneath the ship. This, by the way, happened, Mocklin, at the exact same time you were having the fight. And it is the reason that you may not have detected anything, if there was anything, and it's not just her imagination.
So what was it? A shrike, a demon, or?
I don't know. I don't know. But it's what I saw. It's what I saw.
Can you draw it for us?
I will attempt to do so, but not here. I will do so.
GM.
Yes.
I take it when this thing passed underneath, as you just described, I take it that it wasn't wailing or trying to communicate, or
no.
I take it was just completely silent.
Yeah, not to avoid having to go back and change any fiction.
No, that's absolutely fine.
It was as you were locked in your arcane duel. You may have felt something at the edge of your mind, but it was fast and it moved rapidly. Pietro.
Okay.
Let's talk about what you came off of that dance, and you saw sort of a couple of weird looks, like people were looking at you a little bit like you'd done something a little bit gauche, but you're like, I freaking nailed the dance. Yep. And I don't know if any of your buddies are close that could say anything to you, Mock, about his amplified voice or his loud talking.
Yeah, I can do. Once he's finished his dance, I'll kind of like sidle up to him and go, I hope you're not that loud in the bedroom. Sorry. Here, boy, I hope you're not that loud in the bedroom. God, you made a screech. Everyone heard you. Yep. But it was fine compliment, I'll give you that. But, I mean, you could have called her a chicken instead.
Pietro looks confused because
yes, you didn't notice.
Talk that loudly.
Yeah, no, you didn't notice.
Trust me, everyone was. But I got your back, Sonny. All right, that's all you need to know. I got your back, and he won't be playing that shit on you ever again. I don't think. Maybe he might. I don't know. Just yeah, you know.
Well done.
Pietro thinks there's something lost in translation here. He's not understanding the accent. Something happened, but he's got no clue what it is because he didn't get a word of that.
Very good. So Sasha,
and he thinks, I really must pay for some elocution lessons.
Yeah, well done, Sasha. So you saw the young gentleman have his dance. You have had plenty of dances during this period, and you have rotated around until the point where he is in front of you for the first time. Would you tell me what this young officer cadet looks like? Easy.
I seem to remember the last time I was asked to describe somebody, I gave them a limp and
PG-13.
patch over the iron. Let me see. He's
This is your paramour, so presumably. Yeah.
So basically, it looks like Pete in real life. Got it.
Yeah.
He's tall. He's tall. Handsome, tall, handsome, slim. He's got
hung like a salmon.
Curly light brown hair that wisps elegantly round his features. He's a very pretty young thing, really, in all truth.
I agree. Pete is. I do agree. Pete is very pretty.
Is he your same age?
No. He's a little bit younger than me.
Ah, very good. Does he call you ma'am?
He does. Yes, he definitely does.
He says, I am so happy to get a dance with you, ma'am. This whole thing has been awkward. And the music slows to a rhythm that is designed to be for couples. And he presses in closely and says, did I make any mistakes with Tita? I saw the looks.
I did not see any mistakes. I think you handled it well.
God's help. And the dance continues. I'll get right back to you. But I'm coming across now to Giacomo. So you have moved away from this mercenary, who works for House Almare, who is trying to bother one of your friends. Is there anything that you would like to do in these closing seconds?
No, I don't think so.
So do you move back to where you were before?
Yes.
And this is not closing seconds of time. This is closing this episode as it's looking. So I'll move to Monty. You've got the pole still in your hands. What do you do?
Yep. Making cursory maneuvers around the prow and putting out the, cover off any pretense of moving rubbish out of the way, and natural rubbish when I see some.
There's a crowd of small boats trying to ply different things to the nobles. So it is a little bit of an effort to sort of maneuver between them as they are all coming close so that the servants can pick different things to carry to their betters.
Yeah. In between sets again, when the musicians are taking a break, I'll exchange a few pleasantries and get them a drink or two, and try and pick up some gossip and see what they've.
You have coin.
Mm.
If you choose to dispense some as a kindness,
a little bit. Yeah, well, thank them for being there and their performance. There's a little tip, and
I think the house would see that well. Sasha, how is it that you spot the sniper?
Well, my eyes have been darting around the dance floor and around the people and around the area. Never once have. I mean, I've seen everything going on, and I've seen my colleagues step in to stop things happening. So I've seen what's happening around the floor, all of it.
Very nice.
And I'm well aware of everything that's going on around me. My eyes never once stopped moving and darting around.
So, where is this sniper? I would say he's probably on a rooftop somewhere on the side.
I'm saying, on the rooftop of a building. Yep. On the left bank.
So, what do you catch? Is it a flash of reflected moonlight? Is it what draws your eye?
Yeah, it's a glint from the glass eyepiece that's on the.
Oh wow!
Spot it.
That you spot it. Absolutely, you spot it. And the next question I have for you is, at whom is this long range firearm pointed?
I think, from what I can see in the angle, I think it is pointed at Prince Carlo Corvetto.
Going for the big man. I like it. Okay. That is fiction setting right there at its best. Now I ask, what do you do?
Well, I am not unarmed, needless to say. Here.
Oh no, you have three things that you can say or you can cross off.
Yep. And I think I am gonna basically create. I want a distraction. I want to basically. I want to get the prince out of line of fire if I can.
Okay.
I don't know how I'm going to achieve that one necessarily yet.
You can see Giacomo has gotten back to his seat, which is just a table away.
Okay. Yeah,
John.
Yeah, let's go back to him. Which is the table away from the prince, is it?
Yes.
Okay. Do we have signals at all? We set up yeah, can we have a flashback to setting up signals?
Yes, you may.
Okay, lovely. So basically, before we actually came out on this mission, then I think we'll have put in place that there is a series of signals we have between ourselves.
Very good.
To draw people's attention and also to direct them to where we think there's danger.
Very
so I'm
good.
going to catch.
So give me 2 stress for that.
Yeah.
And then tell me what your signal is.
I'm signaling to him that there is a threat on the rooftop. So I'm drawing his eye to that for a start.
Very good.
And that there is, and that the prince next to him on the table, this not too far from him, is the target. So.
Very good. What is your signal for threat? Slash.
A circle.
Circle.
Yeah,
got it.
Yeah.
I'm happy with it. So you're going to do this.
Target. Yep.
Very good. And is there anything else you're going to do in this instant? You are on the same side of the boat as the sniper. You do not have to work through a crowd.
Right. But I'm in plain sight of everyone, aren't I? So me pulling out a firearm and firing at somebody on the rooftop might not go down quite so well in a crowded boat. But then
neither will the prince getting shot.
And in the way.
Yeah, I think that's much better, actually, as a move. I think I am going to make myself move. I'm going to move as fast as I can across the boat.
Very good.
To get myself in between the sharpshooter, the shooter on the rooftop, the assassin on the rooftop, and the prince.
Very
and make
good.
It as smooth as I can, as if I'm coming around to
Giacomo. Gotcha.
Giacomo. Gio. Around to Gio.
Yes.
To ask for a dance, and I'm leaving my paramour on the dance floor with a brief, my work, and then he knows full well when I say that to him, that's it. He's just to basically make no fuss, no stress, anything.
Wow.
I have my job, and he knows I'm on duty tonight, so we've already had that conversation.
That is fancy.
So I watch.
Go ahead.
Sorry.
No. Go ahead.
I was just going to say, I watch her spin from the dance floor, and I see the hand signal. I see the fingers come out and the indication that there's danger. And immediately I see her do that, which means come to me. And I look up and I look her in the eyes, and she flicks her eyes up and looks at one of the rooftops, and she's moving fast.
Yes.
So I see her look, and I follow her eye line, and then I see her look back at the prince, and I realise what's going on. And this all happens within about 8 heartbeats. And she is on the move.
Absolutely.
And as soon as I see this, I am on the move as well. And what I'm doing is I'm joining her, and together we're cutting off the angle. And then as she comes towards me, I reach out my hand and make as much movement as I can, and she's swishing her skirts and doing the same thing. And between us, we're creating this ball of movement, thus putting off the ability to fire. And she grabs my hand and we turn, and then we both step towards where the prince is, but not too close to him, but between us. And then we come together, and we just hold one another, and we start talking and laughing. And it really is just, as far as anybody else is concerned, it's just rhubarb. But we're putting on this show, and all we're doing is, as we adjust our position, we're just blocking that sniper and just blocking that sniper, blocking that shot, and we're constantly watching. We're watching the prince. And if he moves, if anybody moves around him, if there's any problems, we're going to be there. We're moving. We're constantly shifting our position to act as physical barriers between him and the shooter.
So I would like a roll of some sort to see how this progresses. And the roll itself will determine several things. One, how well you cover this whole process. 2, do you make it absolutely impossible for a shot to be fired? And 3, if a shot is fired, how successful it is. So let's make a roll between the two of you, and I would like to see what you're planning to do.
So I have to ask, Christine, does your character have survey?
No, not survey.
And if so, how many dots?
I don't have survey at all. What's that one? Observe situation. I've got hunt. Yeah. Hang on.
Very good.
Might be useful in this situation.
So how many dots you got in hunt?
I've got 2 dots in hunt.
Right. Okay.
And I've also got
what
maneuver,
we're doing is
traverse quickly and skillfully. But I only got 1 dot in that. But hunt, I've got 2.
Yeah, I was thinking this is either study, survey, or hunt. It's somewhere in that region. So what you're doing is you are maneuvering me.
Yeah.
Because your hunt is to carefully track a target, but rather than shooting, what you're doing is getting in the way. So this is going to be you making the roll. So I'm definitely adding a point. I'm definitely adding you a dice.
Yes.
But it means you'll have to take the stress, I'm afraid.
Okay.
Hopefully that's okay.
Yeah.
Very good.
Because you're definitely going to want at least another dice on this.
Very good. My Labrador just made an attempt to get into the office. I had the door blocked, but we shall see. Okay, let's make this roll.
This is desperate, isn't it? I believe.
It is desperate, and it is going to be standard effects. You will be able to block this all off.
Okay.
I like it.
And I've got a bonus dice.
And you guys still have a die out there somewhere, I think.
We do. We have the lady's.
Yeah, the lady's blessing.
You use it.
Yeah, I'm thinking.
Okay, let's use it then, Christine. Let's go for it. Let's have all 5.
Very good.
So how many dice?
3 extra dice over and above your 2.
3 extra.
Yeah.
We should get hopefully something great out of this.
Of course, it's me rolling.
There's a 6.
There's the 6 we needed.
Yeah. Booyah.
There is the 6 we needed.
And don't forget to mark your XP on your
desperate.
On your mind.
Yeah. And there had been a couple of desperate rolls tonight. I think Pete had one. So anyway, 6. You are constantly between that glint and the prince. It gets at the edge of awkward to sort of be dancing there in the tables.
we're not really dancing. We're consorting. We're sort of hugging one another and just moving around and just like we're having this whole big conversation between us.
The problem is it's going to take like 2 or 3 minutes to make that happen. So what I'd like to add as a complication is that you guys need to. Well, not much. No, it's a 6. There's no complication. You guys, no. There's no complication. You guys pull that off with a plum, and there is never an instant that could have been a shot. Well done. With that, the camera fades out, and we have completed a score, an errand. We have a lot of players, so it's a little hard to make sure we make everyone have a little bit of the pie. But I think that we got that. And what we're going to go to next, as the camera moves away into the night, as the dancing goes on, this goes on for hours, right? The camera was just focused in the small period. Hours of dancing and partying and things go on as the barge moves along. But we come back to a point where all of you are sitting in the morning light in your house Bastion. And with you is the Blade Master. And if no one has figured out yet that that this particular Blade Master happens to also be the eye of the house. I mean, Naldo is the eye. And you're sitting around a table, and Naldo says, well, for this particular season, we have a couple of things we can offer you as things to do as a group. He hands out 3 dossiers for you guys to look at. The first one, as you open it, is information about helping restore relations with the Watch. They are struggling with a murder case in the Twist. A man stabbed 4 times in the chest in the night, and they can't figure it out. The second dossier is to set up House Bjorn for a further fall. Make sure they aren't invited or intercept their invitations to the end of summer ball. And the last of the 3 options for you guys to do during the season is to obtain a loan for Hospitalia. You have been maneuvered into a financially pinching situation by multiple houses sort of setting you up, saying that the Watch needs all new gear. They would prefer that the rank of Brass and Bone is not the first choice, and that the Fortunato Trade Federation might be a better place to start. Oh, by the way, a certain young lady at the very beginning of this adventure tonight, what was her name? Sylvia? Yes, Sylvia. She is married to one of the seniors in this particular Fortunato Trade Federation. So those are sort of the 3 what do we do next? And what I'm going to do, because we only have about 45 minutes left, I'd like to put us on a quick break. Everybody can go hit the restroom, grab a drink, and we'll come back sort of into your choice on where we're moving in this next piece. Sound good?
Mm-hmm. Okay.
All right. Brilliant. And I will put us on a quick pause.
Yeah.
Is everybody roughly back? Pete, Christine, thumbs up.
They are not back.
Fair enough.
And you didn't mute Skype when you went?
I never do.
So we heard everything?
Very good. All right, we're going to head back in.
Sorry, when you said you're alone for House Battalion, did you mean Bastion? House
Bastion. Absolutely. So, you have been given these particular things. What I'd like you to do, sort of before you move on too far, is talk amongst yourselves about what actually happened at that particular event you just went to, the ball a couple of weeks ago, because there were several pieces that happened that were down arrow friends, down arrow enemies. They were moving cross purposes, right? It wasn't Moklin's down arrow that was bothering him. It was Moklin's down arrow that was amplifying the speech of Pietro.
No. She instigated my down arrow instigated the dance between Pietro and Tita.
Perfect.
So she kind of set the whole thing in motion. Well, okay.
She did. Do you sense, as a group, a plot?
It's court-like, isn't it? So I mean, there's going to be plots 1,000.
It's difficult to see many connections at the moment.
Very good.
So on the one hand, it seemed like Moon de la Velle was trying to move me away from Tita, and yet then she's making me dance with her. So not quite sure what's going on there. Whether the assassin was connected at all, don't know. And the potential duel seemed unconnected.
Very good.
He's just a pissed off badger, that
lad. Yes, he may be. Very, very good. Yeah. Okay, so as we're
seen a badger once,
as we're moving towards the end of this night, what exactly of those particular pieces of activity for the house are you guys interested in pursuing? Which one of those?
I quite like the idea of the murder case. That sounds fun.
Very nice.
So do I.
There's two that are interested.
Yeah, I'm interested in that one as well.
Yeah, Lorenzo, is there any reason why you might be more interested in that?
I might have a interest. I might have known the victim,
or
of course, be the murderer.
No. So no. We'll get there from here. If you haven't fallen into this,
my monkey.
Yeah, exactly. So fair enough. So that sounds like is that a common thought that this is where we're headed, is to helping the watch?
Fine by me.
And that's not a bad thing, because you have, as a house, taken over patronage of the watch. That involves money. That also involves oversight. And your oversight has rooted out a lot of corruption. So even though the watch it has a positive view of you, it's largely because the ones that are left in the watch are happy that you've gotten rid of a lot of the corruption that's going on. Your report back to the ground council established that there were multiple vectors of badness inside the watch. They were taking advantage of the plebeians here in the town, and actually, the Grand Council let you have that watch officer for a little while before his execution, and you established many things from him before his execution and tracked those down, and the watch is a better place for having you as the patrons. So you guys are going to seek this out. So the last murder, and there's been multiple now, with this 4 saber stab marks to the chest, has happened in the groin, down in the twist, in the less likable area. But it's also, I mean, when you think about this city, the ghetto of this city is still nicer than many places in the world. There are shops, there are people moving during the day. Now, during the evening, it gets a little bit rough. The watch doesn't like coming down here. It's sort of run by gangs and things like that. But the person who was killed was down this direction. Not too far down this direction is a particular tailor shop. Name the name of this one, Pietro?
The name of the tailors.
Well, you know the name of the tailor.
Yes, exactly. So,
it's at the edge of the twist as you guys are moving down that direction to investigate.
Yeah. Barbolini's the tailor.
Barbolini's tailor.
Yeah.
So you're going to be passing it as you go down towards the twist. It's got a nice, beautiful glass window, and then there's a smaller window next to it, and and there's a second door going in that it says Curiosities, and in the window are some taxidermied mice fighting with their swords, a badger who is dancing. And as you're looking in, as you're passing by, Pietro, you see the young lady inside suddenly struck with a glove.
Right, straight through that door.
Boom, you're through the door. All you guys watch him just suddenly take off to the side.
Who is it who struck her?
Oh, there is a man standing there, and he is flushed red, has his rapier. He says, "How could you?" And she's cowering.
Pietro's straight over, going to grab the man's arm and spin him round away from Letta.
He's wearing Corvetto colors. Probably not a senior person in any way, shape, or form. And as you spin him around, he looks surprised. Has anyone else come into the shop?
I was going to say yes, because I really wanted to know what Pietro actually wanted. I'm sure he didn't want stuffed mice.
Giacomo,
maybe he
outside?
Did want stuffed mice. Maybe he's got an animal. Maybe he's got a dead pet. I think I should go in actually and make sure that he's all right, talking about his dead pet and getting it
Very
stuffed.
Good.
Seems to have it under control.
I'd like to go in as well.
Okay. The two of you move in behind Pietro.
Just to find out if she...
Hey. Steady.
I just want to find out...
Steady. One-on-one. I see what you're doing, the pair of you. Back off. Back out.
Very nice.
It's
Monty?
not gentlemanly to go 3-on-1. Do you understand me?
Monty?
So what are we faced in with when we go in there?
I'm going to bellow at them in the street. So
Okay.
I'm not interested in the fight. I'm interested in my monkey.
Oh, very interesting.
When we walked in, what do we see?
So that's largely based on Pietro. So there is a person with a short cape and the colors of House Corvetto. And by the way, team, what are the colors of House Corvetto?
Not a clue.
I ain't got a clue. You ain't told us.
Oh, come on, you guys, give me some love here.
Hang on.
Okay, well, we know the principal colours are blue, so...
I heard red and what?
Red, blue,
blood
and
and
yellow.
custard.
Yeah, red and yellow.
So basically, they're like a cream yellow.
Okay,
and a blood red.
Blood red and a cream yellow. I'd love it.
Yeah, blood and custard.
Okay.
Rhubarb and lovely.
I'm sorry?
Rhubarb and custard, lovely.
Very good. And so this guy has spun around because he's been grabbed by Pietro. He has struck a young lady who is behind a glass case, and she has a little bit of blood coming down from the corner of her mouth. That's what you see, Moki and Lorenzo.
Okay, I go and keep an eye on Pietro, but I'm going to go and play with some stuffed animals.
Fair enough.
And see how good the taxidermist is. He's got this under control. I think he's trying to do the noble thing, but as a prince, I know full well that
Ooh, Christine.
I play with something and then I walk out.
Very good. So there's a piglet that's mounted in the window that has a yellow dress with stars sort of embroidered across the dress.
Oh,
and
oh, no.
Yeah.
Okay. Is there a donkey close by as well? Like
no, there is not.
Can I kind of like twist it into and put it up against something to make it look like it's been put in a sexual position?
Yes.
Excellent. I do that. I rearrange the front shot display, and I say, "Thank you very much, madam." Sorry, I say, well, thank you, madam. That was very kind of you to let me play with your animals. It's been a long time since I did something like that, but you have fun now, and don't rearrange it for at least a couple of weeks, all right? There you go, my love.
Guys, I've just realised that accent, yeah, what it sounds like.
Oh?
Who does it actually sound like, do you think?
Benny Hill.
Benny Hill. Oh, okay. Well, that's interesting. Okay. I think it sounds like Fred West to me, but there you go.
I thought it sounded more like my uncle.
So my absolute joy is the fact that Pete was actually shocked by what I pulled on him. And for those Americans who are watching this, that is a shocked look for a Brit. So, you haven't quite seen that yet, Pete, but you notice that your paramour has shoved a missive, a letter, off of the edge of the glass case where it falls to the floor behind her. This he says, "What do you want?" says the Corvetto retainer.
Sir,
he's flushed red, angry.
This fine young lady does not deserve a slap to the face. You are besmirching the honor of your house.
Ooh. Monty, where are you?
I'm standing outside, kind of near the doorway.
So outside, looking through the window, you're looking right across this piglet wearing the yellow dress. You immediately recognize that it's an exact copy of the dress of Tita Corvetto. So,
oh no, maybe I shouldn't have put her in the sexual position.
That really is funny.
I was going to say, not only that, the piglet is now trying to fillet the. I can't even say that.
I know. I'm laughing so hard inside. It's unfunny.
The badger. So now the piglet is currently leant over at an angle.
No, yes, it's even worse.
It's
even worse
in the,
because of what
the crotch of the badger. And he's
Lorenzo
behind it going like that. And Monty and I are looking in the window, and I'm like this. I'm looking around for more. I'm hoping this Corvetto guy doesn't notice, because we're in deep trouble if he does.
Lorenzo, there is a monkey that looks very familiar. It's been mounted in a little tutu with bells that is like dancing.
You're joking.
No, I'm not.
She stuffed my monkey.
So so to speak.
Better than the spanking it.
I am in pieces.
It is. It's horrible. It's horrible.
Yeah. Who did this?
Well, obviously this young lady.
Stop it.
Did you do this?
Well, she's very busy right now with the fact that in front of her is a man who's just slapped her, and Pietro.
I'm about to slap her. So, did you do this?
The monkey was brought to me.
Dead or alive?
Dead.
I need to find out. I need more details.
I think I can have a description of the person who brought it. It was a sailor.
I need more.
And she wants to go to flip her book, but at the meantime, there's a problem in front of her, which is what Pietro is dealing with.
It doesn't. I don't care what else is happening.
I don't blame you.
Yeah.
I do not blame you. But she's struggling between the different.
It doesn't matter. Shit is about to go down sooner if you don't tell me where this came from.
Okay. So, Pietro, what's happening between you and the man from the Corvetto family?
Say, what possible excuse do you have, sir, for striking a defenseless young lady?
He's got a very good excuse.
She has made a mockery of Tita Corvetto.
Excuse me. What can you possibly be alluding to, sir?
And he suddenly gets a little embarrassed because he's now having to point to this piglet.
Exactly. Exactly.
And allude to the fact that there's this piglet wearing this dress. This person has implied that Tita Corvetto is a piglet, and by wearing this dress that she just wore to the summer ball.
Is there a label on it, sir? Are you blind? That dress is clearly completely different.
He draws himself.
Tory winter fashion.
Okay.
Whereas I danced with Tita. I had the honor of dancing with Tita del Corvetto at that ball. This is a completely different dress.
Yes, you did.
You have no fashion sense, sir.
Yes, you did. And by the way, you remember that your friends told you that for some reason your voice was amplified when you made the nice talk about her dress. That comes to your brain. And okay. So he goes, okay, we can take this outside, or he thinks, he says, well, I will take this up with our house. Never mind.
I think you should apologize to the lady first.
That will not happen.
For striking a lady, a defenseless woman.
This is not a lady. This is someone who has made mockery of our house.
You insist on impugning her honor, sir?
That I do.
Right. He pulls out his glove. Oh boy. Pietro pulls out his glove and strikes him across the face.
Oh boy.
Ooh. Ooh. Here we go.
I will uphold her honor because you have none of your own, sir.
Wow. It is on like Donkey Kong. This is so cool. Very good. So Lorenzo, you're watching this and you're staring sadly at your monkey. Do you have anything to say?
Yes. I'm in pieces, and I don't care what happens to this woman. I have no skin in this game.
Wow, it's brutal. So you've been sucker punched in the gut.
Yeah, basically.
By seeing your monkey has been stuffed and put up with a tutu on it.
Yeah, I'm taking the tutu straight off it. I'm picking it up. I'm taking it off to be. I'm taking
Very good. Very good. Okay.
I'm going to dispose of this monkey in my own way.
Giacomo, you're outside scratching your head.
This you see. So who's outside with me? Monty?
Me. I'm out.
Yep.
I'm
I'm outside again.
Monty and Sasha.
Monty and Sasha have stayed outside, right?
Yes.
And this
We're blocking the window.
Yeah.
is why you make sure that you vet people coming from outside the city. People from outside the house, I can see some good ones in front of me, but let's face it, this is why you don't just allow anyone into the house. No idea.
Oof. What do you say to that, Monty?
Yeah, unnecessary trouble comes calling, and you don't need it. You have to.
They're making it themselves.
Mm.
They're supposed to
Sasha.
be on our side.
Sasha, what are your thoughts?
Why is Pietro in there fawning over some woman? What is his problem?
Says Giacomo, who fawns over a woman every couple of seconds. But that's
Oh, he doesn't fawn.
No.
There is no fawning.
No, he seals the deal. Yes.
Yes. There's quite a lot of fawning, fawning-cating, but not fawning. Yes.
So Sasha, what do you think of what you're seeing through this window?
I'm quite at dismay, to be honest. Yeah. I'm trying to ensure that people passing by are not looking in the window and seeing anything that's going on inside there.
Very good.
Yeah.
Very good. So Monty, you're doing the same thing?
Yeah. Well, there's not. I say casual. Keep kind of casual discussions, pointing at various things to kind of make it not look like we're loitering.
Very, very good. Okay. So back inside. So Macklin?
Yep.
What are you doing?
So
you have just
I've
recently
I've rearranged the whole window display, right? And I'm going to the guys, well, mostly to Monty. Hey, look. And Monty's going,
Monty's
no,
like that.
no.
I'm like,
and I point down
like
I point at the rat and the squirrel.
Oh,
and
yeah.
then I point to the pig. I point to the pig, and Monty goes. So I go to lift the skirt of the pig, and then Monty kind of goes like this to me through the window. So I take the skirt off the pig, and then I pocket the skirt, or the dress, sorry. So it's just a bare naked pig.
Nice.
And then I walk out, and
Very
I'm
good.
like, okay.
Very, very good.
I don't know. And then when I come outside, I walk up to Monty, and then I give him the dress and go, I don't know why you wanted it. Sorry, I don't know why you wanted it, but, I mean, I thought it was funny. Here you go, boy.
I'd better hang on to that, I think.
So, Pietro, I'd like a roll to back this guy down to where he leaves without any further ado. Or you can choose to just go ahead and fight him.
No. I mean, I'm going to invite him to a duel.
Fair enough.
Your name, sir. My second will be in touch to arrange a date for our duel.
Very well. And he turns and he provides his name, and he storms out of the place. What are you guys thinking? She's still in tears, but she said, "I hit it."
Okay, so
I hit it, Pietro. I hit it.
Pietro goes over to her and comforts her and says, "What did you hide, my dear?"
She reaches down and she pulls up the missive.
Okay, I'll read it. What does it say?
It says, of course, it's from you, of course.
Of course.
Please make me a diorama with a piglet wearing this particular type of dress.
Right. This was not from me, my dear.
What?
Is it in my handwriting? Is it GM question? Is it in my handwriting?
No. Now, you might be able to fight that in the court of law. You might not. You might still go to the court of blades. Mm-hmm. But whoever sent this to her did this on purpose.
Oh, obviously.
To make her think it was from you.
Yeah.
Has she told anyone else it was?
What do you say? Tell me your question.
Have you told anyone else who instructed you to create this?
No. This I just got it a day or two ago, and I started the work. And making the dress was not simple. And by the way, Pietro, because of the clothing that she has been making for these little animals, she is also popular in the grand houses with their young girls and boys in making clothing for their dolls.
Okay.
But she has suddenly found herself in the midst of a machination between houses and is feeling very scared.
I will explain that what's happened and why I will protect her father from this.
And your monkey, I'm so sorry. I did not know.
I need all the information of where you got this monkey from.
I will pull this together for you.
Yeah. I don't want to know anything about what you did to that monkey.
Fair enough.
Timmy was a fine young man. Monkey man.
He was
monkey man. Fine young monkey man.
He was he was past when he came to me.
Look, Felix, at least it's stuff now, so you can hide your grenades up him anytime you want.
Very good. So, as we wind down this this evening, we are moving towards trying to solve a problem with the watch where there has been a murder, which includes 4 stabs that look like a sword across the chest. Lorenzo happened to have some information from his paramour about something about a sword-fingered monster that he may bring back up. And I love that, John. And we have now stumbled upon another problem. There is a conspiracy to hurt your particular paramour, Pietro, and through her, your team, because of something simple you said during a dance.
Exactly.
And let us peel that back just a little bit in the last 10 minutes we've got here. Who were involved in that?
So, obviously, it was Moon de Lavelle, who I talked to about my tailor.
Ah.
And she mentioned the taxidermy.
She did. And was there anything, Mochi, that happened? Mockley, I mean, and
obviously there was
the amplification of the voice so that everyone heard compliments about the yellow dress.
Yes, exactly.
So
this could be a conspiracy, or it could just be someone taking advantage.
Fair enough.
What they heard there.
So we have a conundrum on top of the things you need to do for this particular social season. which is there is a plot to disparage Pietro and his paramour, on top of the fact that you have 3 other things to do during this period. Hopefully, at least one of them will be successful. So, with that said, I think we're done for the evening. We're about 10 minutes early, but I think that we have laid out a serious set of problems for our team to try and deal with. What I'd like to do, and for all of you, I will put this off and I'll shut down the stream and everything else. I'd like to chat for just a second and make sure that we're on track to the type of things you're wanting for the game. Fair enough?
Mm-hmm.
All right. So with this, the team has paused in front of the curiosity shop and has seen this horrific, well, maybe it was very artistic, piglet done in a yellow dress. And they're dealing with the aftermath of that. With that, I will put us on our end. And thank you all for joining us. What a ridiculously fun evening of maneuverings between the houses. Very, very interesting.